Hey everybody, this is Jim of Animateducated, and today I'm going to be talking about storyboarding. And I'm going to show you an example of a student storyboard and see how we can improve it. And basically what you want to do is you want to start with what's called an establishing shot. This is a shot that tells you, the viewer, kind of where you are, what's the situation, where are we? And right now we have this first drawing right here. It shows that it's kind of outside, and looks like a kind of a large area here, and underneath, that's why we have this action. That just gives you a description of the scene. You can write it down. So in this case, it says a wide of frozen lake, and then we have a camera move saying slightly zoom in. So we're slowly going towards this person down here, and then we see that person right here, and they're holding a pole, and underneath they have some drawings. It's cold out, and it says character fishing, her breath is seen from the cold. So it's outside, it's probably a frozen lake, like it said. So it's cold out, so she's fishing. So that's what she's doing there. So let's go to the next scene. So as you can see in this shot, this is kind of a medium shot where you see her head and kind of sitting there, and the pole is bending. So she's getting some activity with that pole, and it says fishing rod gets a couple tugs. And then we go to a point of view shot. That's the medium shot there in the middle. It says point of view looking at ice. So we see kind of a hole here. There's the fishing line, pole, and maybe that's his feet, something of the character. And then in this shot right here, we have kind of a faraway shot of the character. It's kind of got the setup there. And then we've got where we are still in the same camera size. Camera hasn't moved. And now the character is actually moving because the pole is being tugged on. And then there's a big pull. She gets pulled forward, okay? And then she pulls on the line. So she's trying to pull something out of this hole. And we see that it is a boot. And it falls down on the ice, and she's standing there, and it says, looks fed up. This is all done in one shot right there. So I'm going to show you how you can improve this storyboard. So what you're trying to do is you're establishing, this would be scene one, and this would be also scene one. And usually I put that means continue. And what this is this is your camera move. Your camera is going from a far distance, and it's just slowly it's called a truck in. So we're moving the camera forward a little bit. And in here, instead of doing a cut, you might want to soften this a bit. You can actually do what's called a dissolve. So you might want to just write in dissolve to scene 2. So this is scene 2. And this is fine. This shows kind of where we're at. The next shot, what we could do is we could, instead of having a point of view shot, you could just do a slight pan down to what's happening here. So instead of having this point of view, you could pan the camera from, like, this is scene 2, continue, right? So instead of having this shot looking down, you could just show the ice, we can show kind of like where the foreground, background maybe in here, and we can have that line going like that. So basically you're going from this shot here, and you're following that line down to where that hole is. So you're following, the camera would just kind of go this direction down to the hole. So that way we can show that it's a hole there. And then you could actually go to this scene 3 and something happens. In this case, she starts getting something on that line. So we want to be able to see that. So yeah, that's fine. I would have her do that. As soon as we cut, we want to get closer to the action. We want to get closer to what's going on there. So maybe instead of staying far away from her, we can get a reaction shot to her looking down. And she, you know, how does she feel about this? Right? You know, you can bend that pole. She can be, you know, trying to she's struggling here, something like this. So this is what we want to do. We want to start off with kind of establishing what's happening, but then we want to go right into a good close-up here of her trying to, maybe see even something like that, where she's 3/4 and she's trying to, this thing is tugging and she's reacting to it. When she starts to pull it out, we can go, we just keep that same scene, that same close-up scene. So that would be scene 4. And this time, instead of far away, I mean, you can show her back here, you know, she's pulling this up with all her might, you know, and that thing is still bending, right? But she's going back now, she's going back like this. This is where you could let the audience kind of give the audience a little mystery to what happened, right? You don't have to show it's a boot, right? And then she looks bored. And just from the expression on her face, she could be surprised, like, you know, like it you know, she pulled this thing out. We don't know what she pulled out, right? But something came out that we don't know what it is. So this is, again, this would be scene 4, right? So she's reacting sometimes. She's looking kind of like, what just happened? You want to keep that attention on that character. You don't want to keep going far away from this character, right? So let's try this. Let's get rid of that. So let's just say that we're going to stay in the same field, but we're going to be close in. So as she pulls this up, she can pull up this thing, maybe even reach for the line. You know how, if you've ever gone fishing, you can hold onto the line with one hand and your pole on the other, like this. She can be looking, and we actually pull up the thing. It's a boot, right? So it enters scene basically, right? So this is all done in one closer shot. You're still doing kind of what you're doing in the background there, but now you see that she's getting something, she pulls it, she looks, she's reacting to something, we don't know what it is, she reaches over, she pulls it up, and she looks at it. Again, the original, she's super far away, we can't tell how she feels. You could even just keep that same shot of her holding the boot. You know, it's hooked onto the line. Maybe she's got her hand here to steady the line. She's holding it up. There's the pole. And this is then you show that look of disgust. You know, whatever that may be. It's your character. You figure out what that character is going to look like. But so now we can see that she looks fed up, you know, like, you know. Not happy about this at all, right? And that's it. You don't need to show all this stuff here. This has already been told. So this is just a way of showing kind of the same situation. She pulls out the boot. She's fed up with it. Oh, God. But for this exercise right now, I think this is fine to end with that shot of just getting closer to your character. Not try to avoid anything where you start, if you start noticing that your images are like you're going farther away, then you're getting closer, then you're getting farther away, then you're getting closer. That's going to affect your audience. They're not going to really care about what's happening to this character. It's almost like you're getting close to something and then, you back off completely. You're not letting your audience see that. You're keeping them at a distance. So what we want to do is establish where we're all are, showing, the big picture and setting the stage, and then cutting closer, and especially on shots of your character thinking or reacting or looking at something. You always want to be closer to your character in a good medium or a close-up. And you want to show what your character's looking at. Once you see what it is, and it doesn't always have to be in a point of view shot, like through their eyes. Sometimes that works, sometimes you don't have to. You can use that thing where you could just pan down to where's the pole? Where's that string going? Oh, it's going into a hole in the ice. Got it. And then you can get a little farther away to show, something's happening to that pole, right? Anyway, this is just something to think about. And you're always doing that when you're storyboarding. You're always trying to think of what's the best way to tell a story, what's the easiest way and most clearest way to tell the story, so you don't confuse your audience, because that's who's watching it. All right, hope that is helpful to you, and we'll talk to you next time on Animated Educated. Thanks a lot for watching.